that really, I'm going to press record, that really affects the way you move. So we'll start with our cars first, but we'll start from the ground this time. So we're going to have to take off our socks. We're going to do we haven't done these ones, we're going to do our toes first, and then we'll move to the rest of it. So with this one, you're going to be sitting down, okay? And then in this position, I want you to lift up your big toe, okay, on both sides, like so. If you can't, you can put your hand down on the other toes. And then I want you to lift onto your heel, okay? And then we're going to come back down, and we're going to put that big toe down first, and then the little toes, okay? So on the ground here, we're going to lift up the big toes. This side's a little bit different for me. And then come up onto our heels, bring it back down and lower the big toe first, and then the little toes. Okay, so we'll do that 3 more times in your own time. Lift up your big toes, yeah, and then go onto your heels, and then bring it back down. Big toe touches first. We push that big toe into the ground so your arch is super high, and then the little toes. Again, lift the big toe up, and then come up onto your heels. Bring the palms, the soles of your foot down, and then the big toe, and then the little toe. Let's do that again. Big toe up, then little toes. Then lift up, and then come back down, big toe down, and then little toes. Very good. Now we're going to do the opposite. So you're going to push your big toe into the ground and lift up the little toes. And then we're going to come up. And then you can guess, this is going to be a little hard. You're going to try and put the little toes down first, and then the big toe. All right, so push the big toe into the ground, lift those little toes, come up onto the heel, and then come back down, lower the little toes, and then the big toe. And then let's do it again. So little toes up, lift them up onto the heels, and then bring the foot down, little toes down, and then big toe. All right, one more time. Little toes up, foot up onto the heel, and then lower down, little toes come down, and then big toe follows. All right, so then we're going to work on our ankles. So this time we're going to have our foot outstretched in front, okay? And then 1 foot at a time, we're going to do some circles around, okay? So you try and keep your heel connected to the ground, and then you swoop into the midline of your body, come up to the outside and come around. Now the key is to try and do this without moving our leg, okay? So really put pressure into the heel a little bit, and then really just rotate from that ankle. So we're going to do 10 loops around this way. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then we'll go the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can push down your knee if you have to. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. We'll do the same with this other side. So push the heel in, flex the foot, and then point and flex around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Nice. Next, we're going to go into this 90-90 position. You're going to put a little bit of pressure forward. We're going to do this front leg forward. And what we're going to do is we're going to sweep clockwise. So you'll have the side of your shin, calf to the shin to the floor. Foot is flexed. And then you're going to point and circle. So I want to circle this way. It's really slight because you're very restricted in the range, right? So sweeping around like that. Everyone okay with that? Let's count. 1. Yeah, good. 2. Try and make a circle with the toes. 3. Even if it swoops the floor as you come back. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. Then we'll go the other way. So you're going to come point down, flex, and then point, and then flex. Point, flex. 2. 3. This might be easier. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. Good. How'd that feel? You feel a little bit of tightness around here. This means everything's like really tight. Okay. So let's come to 90 on this side, and we'll do the same thing. So lean a little bit forward so you restrict your range from any other part of the body. And then we're going to go clockwise, all right? So around that way. So let's go. Oh, sorry, that's counterclockwise. So forward like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is bad here. 7. It's not so good this side. 8, 9, 10. Good. And then we're going to go backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good stuff. Okay, so we're going to go further up the chain. We're going to go to our knees now. Okay, so what we need, we did this last week. We're going to put our hand underneath our supportive, actually, I don't think we did this one before. We're going to put your hand underneath your leg. You want the thigh and the hip to be nice and close so you get no kind of rocking movement from there. And then you're going to flex your foot. Okay, and then we're going to come rotate to the midline from the knee. So it's like, it should feel like a slide across for those that are new. Okay, so slide across that tibia, that bone here will slide across. And then you're going to extend, but not to full. So that's 3/4 extension. So I'm going to have to up this one. So we're in this position, we've extended. And then from here, we're still in the midline, we're going to rotate to the other side and come down. Then you're going to come into the middle, up, out, and down. Yeah. Cuff, middle, up, out, and down. Feels weird here, doesn't it? Middle, up, out, and down. So some of the girls here have been doing it for a couple of years now. They should feel, I mean, sometimes you'll feel like if you've been running a little bit more, a little bit gritty and not quite moving as well across. Really important. The reason why we do those power movements is because there's a strong research saying that obviously our joints, our bones, like the center of the mass that supports the rest of the structures. So if they're moving correctly, then the rest of the body can have the ability to move in the range that it should. Good. And that's it for that knee. All right. So we're going to come around to the other side. And underneath, nice and tight, flex the foot. Okay. And then rotate to the center, come up, outside, and down. Rotate, up, extend 2/3 or 3/4, rotate rotate in, up, round, and down. Probably the girls were saying on Friday in power that their hamstrings are a little bit tight. We'll probably ignite her. Good. Rotate in, up, out, and down. Again, rotate in, up, out, and down. Let's do one more. In, up, out, and down. Good. Now I want to start working on the hips. So for this one, it's kind of feels like you're not going to work on the hips so much, but it is. We're going to push our big toe into the ground, okay? But we're going to be laying on our back, okay? And what I want you to do is push your big toe into the ground, okay? Keeping the other toes on the ground as well. But the more you push your big toe into the ground, the more the arch of the foot should come up, okay? You're pushing the big toe into the ground, and then you're slowly trying to keep connection of that big toe without letting go and opening up the knees to the side. Okay, only go to the point where the toe can stay connected and then bring it back in. You guys get that? So push the big toe into the ground, open up the thighs or the knees, let them flow down, but keep them flowing out until you use that toe, good control of the toe, and then push it back in. Keep pushing the toe into the ground. So make sure that your feet are parallel to each other, so they're not kind of splayed out into a fifth position or anything like that in ballet. And then keep doing that. So that's number 3. Keep the knees coming out and then come back in. Again, so relax the upper body, push the toe, big toe into the ground, connect the heel into the ground as well, and then rotate out. And then bring it back. That's 4. Let's do 6. Big toe into the ground, open up, have that connection going the whole time. And come. Big toe into the ground, open up, out. And big toe into the ground, open up. And bring it back. One more. Keep that big toe in and open up. Knees. Keep the connection. Don't let the big toe come off. Let the heel come off and come down. Good. So you should feel a little strong connection in the toes as well. But that goes right up to the hip. All right, so we've done the knees. Let's do our wrists next. You can do this sitting down if you'd like, or standing up. Sit down since we're on the floor. Okay, so remember this from last week. We keep our elbow close into the side of our body, and then we grab the wrist or the hand on the forearm here. And then we're going to keep our hand nice and flat. We're going to rotate to the center and come down and around. Does everyone have a mobility ball? Yeah? Good. Okay, so let's do one more like this. Let's grab our mobility ball. I've got a big one here. So mine will look a little different, but you're going to have it, hold it into your hand, okay? And then we're going to do some rotations with that ball in, so same thing. Okay, so it's going to give you a little bit of it really, but this time, instead of having the hands splayed out, we're going to put our fist around the ball, grabbing it, okay? And then from here, we're going to rotate down and out. We'll do 10 circles like this. This will get a bit more work happening. 3. 4. 5. Going counterclockwise now. 6. 7. 8. 9. And then we're going to go the other way. So around, out. 1, 2. So you can see how this is important when we're doing our snatch, right? We're pulling up and then we're punching out. We've got to have that full rotation with our wrist. 2 more. Good. All right. How's that feeling? Warmed up in the arm a bit? Good. Let's do the other side. So grab that ball. Keep that wrist nice and flat. Keep the forearm at 90, and then we're going to rotate around 1. So you can go counter clockwise. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Let's go the other way. Out to the outside and then in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. How's that feel? Okay, so now we'll stand up and we'll do our neck and our spine. And then we'll come back down to our hips. So, head cut off, that's not too good, is it? Okay, so for those that are new, remember we have to create a little bit of tension, feet are nice and planted into the ground. We may close our fists a little bit, think of like 30–40% tension. And then we're going to bring our chin down to our chest, rotate the head, then tilt it. So opening up, spreading it here. And then you're going to come up behind. You're going to tilt the chin up. And then you're going to tilt the head to the side, lengthening the side of the neck. And then tuck that chin down to the chest. And then come to the center. Okay, then we're going to go back the way we came. We're going to rotate, tilt, back behind, and around. Again, tilting and tucking in your own time. So if you have that kind of neck that's a little stuck today, don't force it. Okay, just make the loop a little bit shorter, or less acute. But then give it time too. Sometimes the first 2 reps don't feel great, and then the other ones feel a little bit better. And then sometimes you find the first 2 reps, you don't really know, your body doesn't really understand what it's doing, so don't feel anything. And then the 3rd and 4th, you're like, oh yeah, that feels tight there. So everyone's body is a bit different. Looping around. Good, that's it. Now remember, keep the shoulders away from the ears, that's important too. Keep it nice and long, give the neck the space that it needs. Good. We'll finish 1 more. Coming around. It's quite good. I've had some clients too that they're like, oh, I feel weird now that my neck's moving. And then they get used to it. It's another reaction. All right, so let's do our spine. Let's give some nice big loops with this one. So we're going to have our arms outstretched. It's going to be the same root as the neck. So we're going to fold forward. And then we're going to rotate to the side, tilt to the side, reach up overhead, try and stretch that spine as you reach up, and then come around. Hips stay nice and still. We're going to do some loops right across. I want to create some space here, okay? So keep going around in this direction, reaching around. That's it, ladies. So hips square, those headlights are pointing forward, nothing's moving here. Breathe. Breathing is in your own pace here, but it feels really nice. Good. Let's finish up our last loop here, and then we're going to go the other way. So you reach to the center. And from here, let's rotate the opposite direction. Reaching up, fingers pointing to the ceiling. Palms will change directions forward as you come to the front, and then opening up to the side, reaching behind. Good. Three, we'll do two more. Actually, three more. Make it 6 even. 4. 5. Good. 6. Very nice. Good. All right. What's this little thing called? Okay. So elbows. Palms facing forward. Rotate that thumb towards the back of the room. Come up. Rotate that pinky out towards the back of the room. And down. Rotate out. And up. That's 3. We'll do 5. Make sure you're not leaning on one side, everything even. Good. All right, so now we're going to come on all fours and we're going to do our hips. So last week we laid on our side for the cars. This time we're going to come on all fours. All right. And we're going to bring, so you want to try not to move around too much. Everything's nice and still. So the opposite knees will be planted to the ground. Your hand's going to be below your shoulders, and you're going to drive, flex the foot, drive the knee up to the chest. Do that fire hydrant where the foot stays the same height as the knee, and push up behind and come in. And then we're going to push back behind to that fire hydrant. So that's the key, knee and foot at the same height, and then come down. And then drive up, out. That's it, ladies. Good. Push back. Up. Out. Think of the hip joint. Okay, that femur's coming into your hip, ball in the socket, and moving that socket to that ball in that socket. Try and open up that range. I mean, essentially, people lose range as they get older if they don't keep using it, right? Think for that saying, don't use it, lose it, essentially. Good. All right, so we're going to do the other side. Drive the knee up to the chest and then up to the outside. And push it back. And another really great thing you guys do, and obviously is strength training. The more I'm reading, the more you do that, the better you are off in every area. Especially as women, if you're below the age of menopause, you want to mass up as much as you can because it's harder later on. Doesn't mean you can't, especially if you never lifted before. If you're over 50, you can still have some great gains, sure. Very important. And then at one point, you're just trying to maintain it out to the outside And let's do one more. Push it back. Now. Good. All right. So now have a little rest for the board if you need to. We're going to go into some pails and rails. So for those that are new, what pails and rails are basically as a contraction in 2 positions. Okay. We're going to do our hip flexors. So what does that mean? That means everything up connected in here. Okay. So unlike a static stretch, a stretch where you just kind of hold a position, this one we're working a little harder to create tension in a opening position and a closing position. So with this one, this is why I asked for a pillow or something for the knee. So if you need to go get that, you can. Okay, we're going to have this position like so. Okay, and we're just going to go into a stretched position. I want you to maintain a nice curve in the spine. I don't want you to tuck the tailbone under too much here in this stretch. Okay, so with this one, we're going to hold this stretch for 2 minutes. And then we're going to go into our pails and our rails. So with our pails, we're going to drive our hip forward, pushing the knee into the ground. So think of that stretch, okay? So tucking a little bit more the tailbone under and pushing the pressure into knee. So that's pails, okay? And when we do pails, we try and hold, so keep holding this stretch. Don't force anything, just hold it, and I'll keep talking. I'm gonna hold that for 2 minutes. So this is a good start, I can talk about it. So the first one is called our pails, where we're pushing the knee into the ground. And then the next one is called our rails, and I want you to keep pushing this knee into the ground. But at the same time, I want you to pull this front foot towards you, your heel. So you feel like you're pushing forward, but at the same time pulling back, okay? So the knee pushes into the ground, and then you pull the knee here into your thigh a little bit more, and that is our rails, okay? So, and we're gonna do these at a couple of percentages. Each of those holds, those pails and rails holds, are gonna be for 10 seconds. The first one, we're gonna go 60, 70%, so nothing too crazy. And then the second one, I want you to go 80, 100%. So like really, really aggressive, okay? So keep holding another minute here. Oh, another minute, another 20 seconds. And then when we do this too, we need to take a nice deep breath of air in, create that tension in the rest of the body. You can even close your fists and like push your hands down, contract your triceps. But what I really want you to think of is pushing that knee into the ground and that hip forward. And then the next one, pushing this knee into your thigh and then trying to stand upright a little bit more, okay? So here we go. Create some tension in the body. Take a nice deep breath of air in, so breathe in. Good, and then really drive the hip forward this way and push that knee into the ground. So this is 70% for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Now, push up, pull that knee towards you here, that heel's pushing back, and then try and stand a little taller for 10, 9, should feel a good stretch here, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Are you guys getting, for those of you that are new, are you getting the feelings of the, yeah, so you should feel like some work happening in here. So we've done our 70%, now we're gonna get that 80 to 100%. Think of your 1 rep max. Those of you new, we'll come across that eventually. All right, so take a deep breath of air. It just means you put more pressure into the knee. So take that deep breath of air in. Breathe in, create that tension in the belly and the arms, and drive as hard as you can that knee and that hip forward for 10, 9, should be shaking, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then drive the other hip in and lengthen up this way for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Enough, relax. So that fires up the nervous system a little bit as well. That's why I don't like to do it every week. My point there, we're doing them in all the angles. That was a bit too much, I think. Okay, so let's come around to the other side. And we're going to hold that nice stretch again. Okay. Everyone's knee up here, okay? The one that you just on. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's hold this. So all the pails and the rails is an isometric contraction or a hold. So if you think about, let's talk about our squat, let's say, okay? So the pails would be coming down to the bottom of the squat, right? And then the rails would be trying to push out of the squat. And also like the loading as well. So I guess this week we're at like, I think we're at still 70%, 80% for some lifts. And then we'll progress that to 85, 90%. And then we'll end up getting closer to that 100%. Okay, one more minute. The stretch, this like passive hold should just feel kind of relaxing. Nothing too crazy. Unless you're super tight, then it can be fun. Hip stay square, remember. So remember those pails, we're going to go, and rails are going to go 70%, and then we're going to go as hard as you can go. And each for 10 seconds, right? 20 seconds. So the reason why we ask you to take a nice deep breath of air into the belly, we're just trying to create tension here, okay? Nice and stable, like when you're doing your lifting as well. Bracing, we should say. They call it irradiating in functional range conditioning, but the same principle. All right, so let's take a deep breath there of air in. Close those fists, drive that knee into the ground at 70% and hip forward for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now pull, tighten everything up, pull that knee into the right side for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good, and relax. So the rails is almost as if like you're trying to lift this knee that's on the ground off the floor, which isn't going to happen, but we try. All right, ready? We're going to go heavier here. All we've got. Bring that deep breath of air in. Brace and drive that knee into the ground. Hip forward for 10, 9, squeeze that ass, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now bring it all together tight. Try and pull that knee off the ground for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. All right. Very nice. Let's come down to the ground. And we're just going to do some nice little rotations. Okay. So here, you lay flat. You can have your feet wider if you want. I just want you to be relaxed here. So I'm just going to kind of let it drop. And if the back comes off the ground, that's okay. And then you're going to come around to the other side and rotate. So both knees can come closer to the ground. Should feel a nice stretch here. Let's do 10 of those. That's 2. Okay, here. Good. 3. And breathe. Relax. 4. 5. 6. 7. Good. And 10. Next one, I got one more. I think we get cut off now because we're a little bit, we're not on this Zoom now. Now we're going to get our ball and we're going to unlock here as well. So you're going to put your ball, so you got your hip bone and your rib cage, your last rib. Some people have bigger space, some people don't. And then from the hip, we're going to come just a little bit belly button in between in there. And what we're going to do is we're going to lie down on that spot. Okay. And then you're going to have your head down. You're just going to find that spot and relax into it. Okay. You should feel a little bit. And if you can go higher up underneath the rib if you need to as well. Just be careful not to put too much pressure. Because ribs are a little bit delicate. You just got to find that spot that's a little bit tight. Anyone not having any luck? And then relax the head down. Right. Good. So we're going to work a little bit here. We're going to have our arm opposite, same side as the side that the ball is on. The arm and the leg are outreached in front. And then I want you to lift up the leg a little bit. Leg is straight. And then lift up your arm and hold and come back down. Okay, you guys get that? All right, so we'll do 10 of them. So relax, arm straight, leg straight, and lift. Hold. 1, 2, 3, and down. Good. Breathe in. Hold. 1, 2, 3, and down. Again, lift, hold, 1, 2, 3, and down. And 4, lift up, hold, 1, 2, 3, and down. Now you can move the ball if you need to at this point. Again, lifting up, 1, 2, 3, and down. 5 more, up, 1, 2, 3. Make everything nice and long. Reach forward with fingers and toes. Up, 1, and back with the toes. 2, 3, and down. Again, 3 more. Up, 1, 2, 3, and down. Good. Up, 1, 2, 3, and down. Last one. Up, 1, 2, 3, and down. Okay. So that's for your psoas, which is a little muscle, a bit flexor coming in through. All right, so we're going to do that on the other side. Find that spot. Yeah, a little tricky sometimes. And then just relax down, opposite arm. Lengthen, same side, sorry. Arm out in front, opposite arm relaxed. Take a few